Hello, today we're going to do a watercolor rainbow. I hope you're excited. It's going to be fun. We're going to need watercolor pencils. And you don't need all the colors of the rainbow. We can just use primary colors. So we're going to start with red. And we're going to make it wide enough so we can add another primary color below it to make the orange color. So what do we mix with red to make orange? What other primary color? There it is, yellow. And it might not look orange yet because with this watercolor pencils, when we add the water with a brush, it's going to mix way better. It's going to be nicer. It's going to look more orange. But I think my orange here might be a little too thin. But when I add the water, it kind of gets a little wider. Okay, so now I'm going to blend in that red with this thin brush. So on the rainbow, what color goes under the orange? That's right, yellow. Okay, now I'm going to add blue because when I blend in the yellow with the blue, it's going to make what color? Green. Okay, so now I'm going to add the red. And when I mix the red with the blue, what color is it going to make? That's right, purple. So here, because the paper was a little bit wet when I added that red, it made that line. So I'm going to try to fix that by adding more blue to that area. So see if you can add the watercolor pencils on the dry paper and not wet paper. I'm learning too as I do this activity. After all, it's all about having fun, it's experimenting. And talking about experimenting, now we're going to experiment using something called a wax stick. Wherever you put that wax, it's going to resist any watercolor that you put over it later on. So it's going to stay white, like the color of the paper. This is why this technique is called wax resist watercolor. Because this is a rainbow and it's supposed to be for positivity and feeling confident, we're going to add some words. Let's think about words that make you feel good, confident, positive. Like think about the things you like to do, the things you're good at, the things that make you happy. So on a blue day, on a rainy day, on a gray day, you have your rainbow to remind you. So now I'm going to make the sun on the left side right across the rainbow. Fun fact, rainbows always appear directly opposite the sun. I'm going to add the blue for the sky. And notice how my watercolor pencils lay kind of horizontal, so I don't make like deep lines. I just want to have the blue color. You don't know the words that I wrote yet, but when I add water to these, the words are going to be revealed. If you don't have a wax stick, you could definitely use a crayon because crayons are made out of wax, so it's the same thing. But with the crayons, you have the option to use color crayons, so you can write your words with some fun colors. So here's my first word reveal, kind. So to color in the sky, you can use this big brush because you don't have to worry about going over the clouds in your words. Remember, the wax is going to resist that watercolor. But I recommend you use a thin brush to go around the edges of the rainbow and around the sun. You could also use a color crayon to write the positive words, or even better, you could draw the things that you like to do, like if you like running, you draw yourself running, if you like singing, you draw yourself singing. You love your dog, your cat, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad, you can draw them, you can draw your family. So yeah, you can write the words, but also you can draw them. And now notice that I'm using a thin brush because for the details, like around the sun and around the rainbow, I need to use a thin brush. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard not to mix that blue from the sky with everything else. But it's important you remember there's no mistakes in art. It's about having fun and about being creative, being silly. And the more you practice, the better you'll get. Don't worry about any mistakes if things don't look like the way you want it. You are going to be learning and you're going to get better each time. So I hope you have fun and I hope you like this rainbow. And here's another rainbow with a landscape if you wanted to do that. Be creative and have fun.